Who is the best player in this draft, in your opinion?
You know what? It's exciting for me when you watch, exciting players. And I think Tavon Austin may be one of the guys who probably is in the top 3 when it comes to exciting players in the draft. When you look at the wide receiver position, it's so up in the air, but you know what you're getting from Tavon Austin. Can play the slot, play the outside, punt return, kickoff return. At the running game, running backs are pretty tough as well. It's hard to judge. Tight ends, you have the tight end, from Notre Dame who's up there. You have the tight end from Stanford, who's playing well. So cornerback situation, same thing, defensive end. But to say probably the best guy in the draft at this particular point, I would probably say Dion Jordan from Oregon.
You touched on the tight ends a little bit. There was such a run on tight ends last year and the year before because of the dominant freak athletes that are all over the NFL. Is that a fad that's running its course, or is that a thing where you would take a Tyler Eifert because the tight end position is here to stay as a dominant force in the league?
Well, I think so many teams are running West Coast offenses. So many teams are running offenses where basically the number 1 or 2 read is the tight end because of their athletic ability. You can split tight ends out to be one-on-one versus a corner or safety. So it works in his favor.
You were picked behind Tim Couch, and you had an incredible NFL career, and Tim did not. Has the evaluation process gotten better in the last 13 years, or has it not?
It's kind of up in the air. I think we get wowed so much when you look at teams quarterbacks who throw for a lot of yards.
Sure.
We get wowed so much from these upper echelon teams who are on national TV, and all of a sudden this quarterback, he's winning. He gets 7, 8, 9 wins a season. It's like, this guy should be the number 1 clear cut. When he gets to the NFL, it just doesn't translate. I think the offensive lineman, same thing. You get a big guy who can move a little bit. This guy will be dominant. He's a franchise tackle. All of a sudden, 4 or 5 years, he's battling for a spot. And when you look at some of the things that these teams have been able to do, it's based mainly, surely, for the offensive guys, what type of offense they're running. If it's an offense that's catered around his ability, then you can work it. Now you start to build different guys, bring guys in, whatever it may be. But if you're just going to have an offense that's set and you're going to bring this guy in, it may not be to a skill set, so it may not work out well.
I take it from that you don't think highly of Matt Barkley from USC, who's probably the biggest quarterback in this draft?
The thing with Matt Barkley, it's not about can he play the game. I think he can play the game. The thing with Matt Barkley is his decision making. We talk about his arm strength, but I think it's more his decision making. I played against guys who doesn't have great arm strength, but they anticipate the route. Throw the guy open. And then limit the turnovers. When you limit the turnovers, you can last a long time in this league. And I think in his situation, he turns the ball over entirely too much. And if he does it in college, what's the reason why he can't do it in the NFL? I think that's the thing you worry about.
Dion Jordan, who you mentioned earlier, has been talked about as a possibility for the Eagles, your old team. Chip Kelly is kind of trying to revolutionize offense, bring the college style to the NFL. How long is that going to take, both on offense and on defense?
Well, I think Chip Kelly understands that college offenses don't truly work in the NFL. So he incorporated a little bit of what Pat Shermer knows with the West Coast offense, and it's really everything together. Quick strike offense, maybe a little bit of no huddle. Utilize the West Coast offense with the mirror routes on the outside, conversion routes due to coverage. So I think his offense can work if he opens it up. If he opens it up where he understands, I'm not going to bring my base, surely college offense to the NFL. I'm going to open it up, add some NFL type of stuff in there, know my talent around me. But the question to me is the defense. Bringing in experienced, not a less experienced guy on the defensive end of the coordinator position, and what defense are you going to run? Now you want to run 3-4 defense. Do you have the talent to run a 3-4 defense? Obviously, we've seen what they were trying to do last year with the wide nines. Didn't work out well. Running a 4-3. Secondary was in shambles. Now you bring in some different pieces in the secondary, maybe another pass rush added in the draft, and we'll see what happens from there.
Speaking of your old connections, Andy Reid, your former coach, is now in Kansas City. It looks like he's going to build with the first pick through the offensive line. How long is it going to take him to implement his system and sort of get things going in Kansas City?
Well, I think things are going well right now. They just have come off a mini camp, and Alex Smith and Chase Daniels are running the offense. Jamal Charleston and Bo are your featured guys there on the offense. Fasano from Miami, tight end coming in. Offensive line, you'll probably draft a tackle, first pick of the draft, so it brings some more insurance into the offensive line. D-line is kind of the question. The D-line is kind of the question because in the last 3 years, Kansas City drafted, 3 defensive ends, 3 defensive tackles or whatever. But they really need to change things. The face of Kansas City has to change in order for them to be successful.
Donovan, you're retired now. You're obviously with the NFL Network and NBC Sports Radio. You know so much about the players. Is broadcast where you want to stay, or maybe you want to get into a front office, maybe get into coaching, something like that?
No, broadcast is where I want to be. I went to Syracuse University, studied, broadcasting and speech communication. Also, I had a plan B. I've always had a plan B while I was playing, and when I decided to walk away from the game, this is where I was going to go. And, you learn more and more each day, and that's kind of the challenge that I take on.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Donovan. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the draft.